The Detroit Lions just received news that completely changes the mood in Allen Park. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the team's leading wide receiver and a cornerstone of the offense, has just returned to practice, rekindling fans' hopes ahead of the decisive matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. This update took everyone by surprise, especially after he missed the first practice of the week due to a wrist injury. But what seemed like a serious problem now turns out to be a sign that he may, indeed, be ready for the most anticipated game of the season. And before I tell you all the details of this return and what it means for Detroit's offensive plan, like and subscribe to the channel because you won't want to miss this kind of news in the coming weeks, especially if the Lions are truly ready to make history in 2025. And it doesn't stop there. Stay until the end of this update because we'll talk about reinforcements, which will surprise all fans. Returning to practice at the Allen Park Performance Center, St. Brown appeared during the individual workouts open to the press, and the images have already gone viral among fans. The number 14 appeared focused, confident, and, most importantly, without any visible limitations. His presence is a game changer because Amon-Ra is the soul of Detroit's aerial attack. His chemistry with Jared Goff has been the team's driving force, and every time he's not on the field, the team loses rhythm, explosiveness, and consistency. In addition, veteran wideout and returner Khalif Raymond also returned to practice, giving the Lions' receiving corps a huge breather. It's a double dose of good news, but be calm because not everything was positive in Thursday's session. While the offense received reinforcements, the defense and offensive lines still dealt with worrying absences. Safety Kirby Joseph was seen in uniform but still under the care of the trainers. He continues to nurse a knee injury, and his participation against the Chiefs is still uncertain. Worse still, some key players didn't show up on the practice field. Running back Sione Vaki, left tackle Taylor Decker, linebacker Zach Cunningham, and cornerback Terrion Arnold. And it's Decker who worries Coach Dan Campbell the most. If the veteran can't play for the second consecutive week, the Lions may have to improvise again, turning to Giovanni Manu at left tackle. To bolster Jared Goff's protection, the team called Dan Skipper to the active roster, and he's already being prepared to compete for a starting spot on Sunday. On the other side, Jared Goff spoke openly about the challenge of facing the Chiefs' defense, and the respect is enormous. "They're good at every level," said the quarterback. Chris Jones is a game breaker. The linebackers are young and fast, and McDuffie is playing at a high level. It's a group that commands respect. Goff's speech accurately reflects the mood in the locker room, the awareness that the duel will not only be technical, but also mental. Kansas City's defense is one of the most disciplined in the league, and the Detroit Lions know they'll need a perfect plan to break that barrier. But Goff wasn't the only one speaking. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes also made a point of praising Detroit, especially new defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard, who has been one of the most talked about names this season. "He does a great job of game planning," Mahomes said. "He puts his players in position to play fast, with grit, and you can see the respect they have for him. It's clear he knows how to get the best out of everyone, and that's what makes this defense so dangerous." When the league's best quarterback speaks with this level of respect, you know the opponent is getting attention. The mood in Detroit is one of anticipation and confidence. With St. Brown back, Raymond recovered, and Goff fully focused, the Lions enter the final stretch of preparation ready for the toughest test of the year. And the thing is, this matchup with the Chiefs isn't just another game. It's a trial by fire that could determine this team's true potential this season. If Detroit wins, the hype shifts from promise to contender. Now we just have to wait and see if the offense led by Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff can overcome Mahomes and Co.'s defense, because everything points to this game being on fire with every snap.
The Detroit Lions have just become the center of a news story that's taking everyone by surprise. Amid a new wave of injuries that threatens the team's defensive depth, General Manager Brad Holmes may be about to make a bold move, and this time, the name involved is a former Pro Bowler who's still only 26 years old. Sources close to the NFL have revealed that the Lions are seriously considering a trade proposal to bring Seattle Seahawks cornerback Riq Woolen to Detroit. And the most interesting part is the cost, a mere fifth-round pick in 2026. Doesn't sound like much? Well, that's precisely what's got fans buzzing. Before we tell you all the behind-the-scenes details of this potential trade, take the opportunity to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This just happened and is already dominating all the conversations among fans in Detroit. The Lions, who started the season with high expectations on defense, are once again facing the same nightmare they faced in 2024, a series of injuries at cornerback. Terrion Arnold, one of the team's standout players and a key player on defense, suffered a shoulder injury in Week 5. Initially, it was believed he would be out for a long time, but a second medical opinion brought some relief. There's a possibility of a quicker-than-expected return. The problem is that DJ Reed, another pillar of the secondary, is also out indefinitely with a hamstring injury. He was placed on injured reserve and is expected to miss at least 3 more games. With both of his top cornerbacks unavailable, Coach Dan Campbell is being forced to improvise. Currently available are Amik Robertson, Avante Maddox, and Rock Yassin, all experienced players, but none with the same impact or consistency as the starters. Even if Arnold and Reed return in the first half of the season, the recent campaign scenario has made one thing clear: Detroit can no longer rely on luck. The team needs depth, it needs insurance, and it needs to act before the situation worsens. It's precisely at this point that Riq Woolen's name is starting to gain traction behind the scenes. According to A2Z sports journalist Mike Payton, a proposal has already been discussed internally. The scenario would be as follows. The Detroit Lions would send a 2026 fifth-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for Woolen. And, according to Payton, this could be a masterstroke by Brad Holmes. Woolen is the big name being floated right now. The Seahawks seem to have backed off a bit on him, and this could open up the possibility of a trade. He's not having a great season, it's true, but he's still a young, athletic player with a history of elite performance, the analyst stated. Woolen, for those unfamiliar with the game, was a Pro Bowler in his rookie season and quickly earned a reputation as one of the league's most promising cornerbacks. Tall, quick, and with a natural instinct for interceptions, he seemed destined to become a star in Seattle. But in recent seasons, his playing time has gradually diminished, especially after the return of young star Devon Witherspoon. This decline in prominence has raised alarm bells around the league, and now, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, several teams are monitoring the situation closely. With Witherspoon's return, teams are eyeing Woolen as a potential trade target before the deadline, Rappaport reported. And the most interesting thing is that Woolen still has solid numbers, nothing like a player in decline. Even in a reduced role, he maintains a 53.3% completion rate and a 72.8 passer rating, figures that place him among the most consistent defenders on the field. He's still fast, still has instincts, and in an aggressive defensive system like Aaron Glenn's, he could rediscover his best football. Just imagine, Woolen lining up on one side, Robertson on the other, and Arnold returning from injury to complete the trio. This secondary would have all the makings of one of the most physical and unpredictable in the NFL. Now, what makes this story even more interesting is the cost-benefit. For just a fifth-round pick, a virtual symbolic value for a player of his caliber, the Lions would have an immediate reinforcement with experience, youth, and the potential to return to their 2022 form. In a league where every play can decide a season, Brad Holmes seems to understand that the time to act is now. If the trade does happen, Detroit not only protects itself from the specter of injuries, but also sends a clear message to the rest of the NFL. This team is all in, unafraid to invest to fight for the top spot. And with the way the roster has been evolving, perhaps this move is exactly what's needed to make the dream a reality. Until the next Detroit Lions update.